Hey, hello, it's RebeccaMarie and welcome to or back to my channel. I'm hoping this video is another one that's going to help you guys out, and it's been highly requested through comments and messages from you guys saying you want more in the flatting series or just some advice on where to start with flatting. So I thought rather than just replying to you all individually, let's put a video up and you can come back to it whenever you need this information. Hey guys, and welcome to the not so glamorous side of my YouTube. I just thought I'd give a quick little message whilst I'm sitting here like editing all this, getting it ready to go up for you guys, to say that this was not a series that I thought I was going to be doing, but because it was so well requested and so many of you guys asked for this information, I've made it for you guys. As I do with every single video I create, I have taken a heap of time to plan out the video and the content to make sure it's adding value and answering all of your questions. Since I have done this for you guys, I don't think it's too much for me to ask you guys to do me a favor. That's just stopping this video right now, giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. And if you enjoy this video, commenting and sharing it with a friend after you've watched it. By engaging like this with my channel, it means I'll be able to continue bringing you guys these videos with the information that you want when you want it. Thank you so much. The serious talk is now over. Let's get back into the video. So I just wanted to sit down and get the first one filmed today because obviously this is quite an urgent matter for you guys. You need to be looking at your flats around now, if not before. So I'm just gonna film this one now and I'll bring out 2 more in the future as well. So we're gonna have 3 videos in total. Today's one is what you need to know when you're looking for a flat. The second one is going to be when you have a flat and what you need to know now you have your group and you're about to move in. And then the third one is going to be a video on flatting CVs, what you need in there, some examples of what will make it stand out and how you'll be able to secure a flat from your flatting CV. So hopefully all 3 of these videos are gonna be really helpful, but first off today is the one about looking for a flat. I've got my notes over here, so if you see my eyes like looking over here, it's because I've just written everything out because I really wanna make sure I get all of this in here for you guys. Before we even start this video, I just wanna say that the earlier you can start looking, the better. This is definitely a Wellington note. I'm not sure how this operates in other locations, but look as early as possible. So follow these tips through what you need to know before you start looking, what you need to know when you get into the flat for looking, but please start looking as soon as you can. It reduces stress and it just makes things so much better. From a Wellington point of view as well, I just think I need to tell you guys that you should be willing to pay over summer. So that's usually what happens. You could have a look at Easy Rent if you want to see if you can go around this, or you could get boarders in, etc, etc. Not really talking about that, but I just feel like as a first year flatter, you do need to know that you will be trying to get the lease from around like November-ish, and you'll pay over summer, and then you'll have to swap out your lease with someone else next November. Just because that's kind of how it works. Everyone swaps out because everybody looks for flats at the same time. So kind of annoying, but just so you know in advance. So let's get into the tips. I feel like the first thing that is super important to get started is where should you even be looking for these flats? Depending on your location, you want to be looking at Facebook pages that are for flatting or for finding flats or flatmates, etc. So if we're in Wellington, that would be places like Vic Deals, and then just like a Wellington flat hunting page. Just join those groups and then you'll see posts about ones you're interested in, and it will say like DM for a viewing. And so you'll like flick them a message to be like, hey, we have a group of this many, we'd love to come look at it, do you have any times? And that is the easiest way to go around that. You can also have a look on Trade Me. I find this so helpful because you can obviously narrow down your search. So you can do like room numbers that you want, how many bathrooms you want, location, and price range. So obviously that might narrow down your selection a lot more, but it also means that you would find the ones that actually suit you and your group. And then a final way that I would suggest is if you know anyone who is flatting or has a flat that you're interested in, you can message them and be like, hey, are you renewing your lease? Like, are you staying in your flat? And that way they might not even have to put theirs up for listing, which would make it easier for them. Okay, so now you know where you want to look for them. You need to know what you need to know when you start looking. That is things like your group. You need to know who your group is, and you need to know whether you guys are, like, say you have a group of 5, are you happy splitting up? Or is it like end all, you have to have 5 rooms in your flat? Like there were some people in the halls who had like a huge group and then they ended up splitting up into 2 like 4s or something. But you just need to have a conversation with your group and be super open about that, because obviously sometimes it's hard to find a flat and the market can be really competitive. So you just need to be open to other options. If you have a huge group, it's definitely hard to find like a 8 or 9 person flat. And then also with your groups, you want to keep in mind that the smaller the group, maybe the less drama. and it might be easier to have communication there. But at the end of the day, you just really want to be living with people that you can see yourself living with. You can have friends who are like the most amazing friends and you want to keep them in your life, but perhaps living with them, you know that your personalities might not get along. Like if you've had a bit of a falling out before and that's your personalities just don't really mix always, maybe flatting might not be the best situation, and you guys can still see each other outside of your flats, but just keep that in mind. When you're organizing your flats, obviously you will be talking about it with your group, you're getting super excited, you're going to be leaving the halls, or you're going to be leaving, I don't know, maybe you're not even in halls, you're just going straight into flatting. I think it's super important that you don't confirm your group until it is confirmed. Like you don't want to be going around telling everyone like, oh my god, we're going to flat together 120%, and then it comes down to it and you're like, oh my god, I don't want to flat with them, and now you have to have this super awkward conversation. So just make sure you're not really like confirming anything and getting anybody's hopes up to be crushed. So try and go around it as nice as possible. And then kind of relating to group, you just need to know how many rooms you want, or think about how many bathrooms you want per people. So we have a flat of 3 people with 1 bathroom, and there's never been an issue. Like it's very easy to swap out with only 3 people, but maybe if you had 4 people, you'd want to consider like a second bathroom, or that'd probably still be fine with 1 bathroom, but just depending on what you guys need, like, yeah. So think about that and think about how many rooms. That kind of relates to the groups thing about whether you guys are happy to split up or maybe add like an extra person on if you found your dream 4-person flat but you only have 3 people. So yeah, just think about that. You also need to have an idea of what location you're interested in. So this is kind of Wellington specific, as I know about that, but I'm guessing this would be kind of true for any location. In Welly, it is generally more expensive to be city central, but obviously then you have the perks of having all of the city's amenities right on your doorstep. So I think it really depends on your group and your budget, whether you want to go out to more like Newtown and potentially get a cheaper budget but have to bus in or Uber back from town. You've just got to like think about whether you'd prefer to be in the city to have everything easier to get to. Like campus is then so close to walk, but if you are further out, you have to allow more travel time, you have to maybe allow travel costs. So just think about the location and what you guys are interested in with that. And then the location kind of relates to knowing the budget of the group. Obviously, rent in Wellington is insane. Some of the prices for these places is kind of scary, but you have to know that it is expensive. So I think when we were in the halls, they said that you'd get around 200 to 250 is like the average price in the city. So just keep that in mind when you're looking, like it is a lot. Okay, so those are the things you need to know. You need to know your group, if there's flexibility on that group, your location, and your aim budget. This will really help you when you're looking for stuff. Now you know what you need to know, it'll be easier to kind of narrow down searches, whether that's on Trade Me or just looking through the Facebook pages, etc., to find something that would actually suit you guys and your group. When you go to look for a flat, it's expected that you take a flatting CV with you. There will be so many people applying for each flat because it is such a competitive market, especially in Wellington. I'm not sure what this looks like in different cities, but in Wellington, very competitive, so you need a flatting CV. I'll put more information about what needs to go in a flatting CV in another video because it's kind of complicated, but it's also not. But I've already talked for a lot here and I still have one more section to go over. So yeah, you need a flatting CV, always have a flatting CV, prepare it with your group as soon as you know your group, and make sure it stands out because there's gonna be so many. Okay, now we're just gonna go on to my final little section here, which is the things that you should check when you're viewing a flat. So maybe make a little to-do list of all of these different things and just tick them off and check that you have checked and done your due diligence when you're searching for this flat. So you wanna check that there is no mold, because mold can show that it maybe gets too damp or wet in the winter. So you just want to make sure that there's no really obvious mold patches. Little tiny bits are probably there just from condensation, etc. But like big patches on the roof or anything, like you don't want to be living there. Then you want to check the water pressure. How annoying is it when you get in a shower and it just like trickles? Like that is the worst. So just like turn on the shower, they will not think it's weird. You want to ask the people who are there what their general price of utilities is, because obviously that'll go on top of the rent cost, and that'll be like once a month a payout. So yeah, just ask what the general cost is and add that on and see if that still fits into your guys' budget. And then in Wellington, I'm pretty sure most flats come with water included, but maybe ask about that as well, just so you know when you're calculating those utilities and you know what is included when they're telling you the cost of their utilities. We didn't do this next tip, but one of my friends suggested it and it's definitely a good one. So check if the house has gas or a hot water cylinder, and then you can research to get the best power deal. You want to check what appliances come with, if any. So most places would come with a fridge, but you just want to check because you don't want to show up and there's literally nothing there. You might want to check if it's furnished or not, because otherwise if there's furniture in there that you might not want, you might have to pay to put that into storage, which would then be an extra cost as well. And then you want to check if the window's open or will it get stuffy. So there is some flats I know of definitely in Wellington that are like apartment buildings, and some of the windows, they don't even have opening window bits at the top. So you might want to just check that, because obviously if it's a really stuffy day, if someone's sick, then the whole flat, you can't let that out anywhere. So definitely just think about that. On that note, you might also want to check if all of the rooms even do have windows to the outside, like at all. Someone recommended on my Instagram that you should get a room with windows. So I know also in some of those apartment blocks, some of the rooms are like in the middle of the flat so that they're not on like a wall on the outside with windows. So you might want to just double check that you're getting a room with windows, because I think it's definitely helpful for your mental health to be able to have a bit of natural light. And although you might be okay with it, and hey, your friends might give you like cheaper rent for it, by the end of the year you might not be enjoying having such a dark and not natural lighting in your room. I kind of said this before, but you might also want to check like how many bathrooms for the amount of people. I said before that we have 3 people with 1 bathroom and that works amazing, but you might just want to check that when you're in there. This next tip wasn't as big of a focus when we were looking, but I think definitely with how unknown COVID is now, I think you need to consider, would you be happy in your potential flat for any period of a lockdown? Like, is it a place that you'll be happy getting locked down? Because I feel like you should consider it. Like, it's obviously not the biggest deal. You'll probably be happy anywhere. All your stuff will be in your room. Like, it'll be cool. But just remember, like, even with groups, like, are you going to be happy being locked down with them? And then storage. You might just want to check how much storage is available in your flat. In our flat, there was not much storage, and the kitchen cupboards were a bit like, I don't know, there's just not enough space. So we actually bought a whole extra cupboard, which fits in the lounge really well and like looks like it was meant to be here. But you might just want to consider that as well. So yeah, those are all my tips for looking. I'll try and bring out the other 2 videos really soon, especially the one about the flatting CV for you guys, so you can get started on making one that's really gonna help you guys stand out. Please comment below anything that you still want to know. If it's about this video, about looking, I'll comment below. And if it's about the next video, like once you're in the flat, I'll just move the question into the video so it can get put in there. And I'll be back soon with hopefully those other 2 videos really, really soon for you guys, because it's just so important you guys get this information. Good luck flat hunting. Let me know how it goes. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back next weekend with another video. Bye!